The 16th century in Japan was a period of profound upheaval. The old order with the shogun at its head was crumbling. Powerful feudal lords known as daimyo were vying for control. It was a time of endless warfare, leaving the common people suffering. Amidst this chaos, a new force emerged, the Ikko ikki. This was not a typical army of samurai. It was a fervent alliance of peasants, monks, and merchants, united by their faith in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. They were ready to fight for their beliefs and their right to exist free from samurai oppression. The Ikko ikki revolt was not merely a struggle for power, it was a clash of ideologies. On one side stood the traditional warrior class, bound by codes of honor and loyalty to their lords. On the other side were the followers of Jodo Shinshu, a radical Buddhist sect that preached salvation for all, regardless of social status. This egalitarian message resonated deeply with the downtrodden masses, offering them hope in a time of despair. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the foundations of Japanese society. The Jodo Shinshu sect, often referred to as Buddhism of the Pure Land, offered a stark contrast to the rigid hierarchies of feudal Japan. In a society where social mobility was nearly impossible, and the samurai class held dominion over the peasantry, the teachings of Jodo Shinshu provided a beacon of hope and equality. Founded by the charismatic reformer Shinran, this sect emphasized faith in Amida Buddha as the sole path to enlightenment. Shinran's teachings diverged significantly from the traditional Buddhist practices of the time, which often required rigorous meditation, strict adherence to monastic life, and complex rituals that were inaccessible to the common folk. Unlike traditional Buddhist schools that required rigorous meditation and monastic life, Jodo Shinshu teachings were accessible to everyone. This inclusivity was revolutionary, as it allowed even the most downtrodden peasants to aspire to spiritual salvation without the need for extensive education or wealth. Salvation, they preached, was attainable through simple faith and chanting the name of Amida. This practice, known as the Nembutsu, was a straightforward yet profound act of devotion that could be performed by anyone, regardless of their social status or educational background. This message of universal salvation had a profound impact on the peasantry and lower classes. For those who toiled endlessly in the fields and lived under the constant threat of famine and disease, the promise of a better afterlife was a powerful and comforting belief. They were tired of the samurai's exploitation and the heavy taxes imposed upon them. The samurai, who were the military nobility of medieval and early modern Japan, often imposed harsh taxes and demanded labor from the peasants, leaving them with little to sustain their families. Jodo Shinshu offered them not only spiritual solace but also a sense of community and shared purpose. The temples became places where people could gather, share their burdens, and find mutual support in a society that often left them isolated and oppressed. Temples became centers of learning and social gatherings, fostering a strong sense of solidarity among followers. These gatherings were not just about religious practices. They were also opportunities for education, social interaction, and the strengthening of communal bonds. However, the growing influence of the Jodo Shinshu sect did not go unnoticed. The ruling elite, both secular and religious, began to see the movement as a potential threat to their authority and the established social order. The ruling elite, both secular and religious, viewed this popular movement with suspicion and fear. The daimyo, who were powerful feudal lords, and the established Buddhist clergy saw the egalitarian teachings of Jodo Shinshu as undermining their control and influence over the populace. The sect's egalitarian teachings were seen as a threat to the established social order. In a society where hierarchy and loyalty to one's lord were paramount, the idea that all people could achieve salvation regardless of their social status was revolutionary and dangerous. Moreover, the growing wealth of the Jodo Shinshu temples, supported by donations from its followers, aroused envy and greed among the daimyo. The temple's increasing influence and resources made them powerful entities in their own right, further challenging the authority of the feudal lords. This potent mix of religious intolerance and economic self-interest would soon ignite the flames of rebellion. The peasants, inspired by the teachings of Jodo Shinshu and emboldened by their sense of community, began to resist the oppressive demands of the samurai, leading to conflicts that would shape the course of Japanese history. The term Ikko ikki literally means single-minded league. This term encapsulates the essence of their movement, a collective of individuals united by a singular purpose and unwavering resolve. It reflected the unwavering faith and determination of its members, drawn from all walks of life. From humble farmers to devout monks and even merchants, the Ikko ikki were a diverse group bound by a common cause. Farmers, armed with whatever tools they could find, stood shoulder to shoulder with warrior monks and merchants. These individuals, though varied in their daily lives, found unity in their shared struggle. What bound them together was not military training or social standing, but their shared belief in Jodo Shinshu and their resentment towards the oppressive samurai class. This spiritual doctrine, which emphasized salvation through faith in Amida Buddha, provided them with a powerful ideological foundation. The Ikko ikki were not merely a ragtag band of rebels, they were a well-organized and formidable force. Their ability to mobilize and coordinate large groups of people made them a significant threat to the established order. They established fortified temples, which served as both religious centers and strategic strongholds. These temples were not just places of worship, but also bastions of resistance, where plans were made and executed. Their leaders, often charismatic priests, possessed not only religious authority, but also tactical acumen. These leaders were able to inspire and direct their followers with a blend of spiritual guidance and military strategy. Under their guidance, the Ikko ikki developed effective strategies and tactics, utilizing their knowledge of the terrain and their numerical superiority to great effect. They were adept at guerrilla warfare, using the landscape to their advantage in battles against the samurai. The Ikko ikki's strength lay not only in their numbers but also in their unwavering faith. This faith was a source of immense psychological strength, allowing them to face their enemies with a calm and resolute demeanor. They believed that death in battle for their faith guaranteed their entry into the Pure Land of Amida Buddha. This belief in a promised afterlife gave them a fearlessness that was both inspiring and intimidating. This belief instilled in them a fearlessness that often unnerved their samurai opponents. The samurai, despite their training and discipline, found it challenging to combat an enemy that seemed to have no fear of death. To the Ikko ikki, theirs was a righteous struggle, a holy war against injustice and oppression. They saw themselves as warriors of faith, fighting not just for their own survival, but for a greater moral cause, and they were willing to fight and die for their beliefs. Their legacy is a testament to the power of faith and the human spirit's capacity to resist oppression, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Section 4. The Siege of Nagashima, a fortress of faith under fire. The Siege of Nagashima, which took place from 1571 to 1574, stands as a testament to the Ikko ikki's military prowess and unwavering spirit. This prolonged conflict was not just a battle for territory but a clash of ideologies and a fight for survival. Nagashima, a cluster of fortified temples and settlements located on the East Bay, had become a major center of Ikko ikki resistance. The strategic location of Nagashima made it a formidable stronghold, providing both natural and man-made defenses that were difficult to penetrate. Oda Nobunaga, a powerful daimyo who was well on his way to unifying Japan, recognized the threat posed by this stronghold. Nobunaga's ambition to consolidate power and eliminate opposition made Nagashima a prime target in his campaign. Determined to crush the Ikko ikki, Nobunaga launched a massive siege on Nagashima. His forces, well-trained and equipped, were relentless in their assault, employing both traditional and innovative siege tactics. The Ikko ikki, led by the valiant monk Kenyo, were outnumbered and outgunned. Despite their disadvantages, they were driven by a deep sense of faith and a commitment to their cause, which fueled their resistance. Nobunaga's forces possessed superior weaponry, including muskets, which were still a relatively new technology in Japan. The introduction of firearms changed the dynamics of the siege, giving Nobunaga's army a significant advantage. Yet the defenders of Nagashima fought with incredible tenacity. Their resolve and strategic use of the terrain allowed them to hold off the attackers for an extended period. They utilized their fortifications effectively, repelling wave after wave of attacks. The strong walls and defensive structures of Nagashima were a testament to the ingenuity and determination of its defenders. They even employed innovative tactics like using ships linked by chains to disrupt Nobunaga's naval forces. This clever strategy showcased their adaptability and resourcefulness in the face of overwhelming odds. Despite their valiant efforts, the defenders of Nagashima could not withstand Nobunaga's relentless assault. The continuous pressure and superior firepower of Nobunaga's forces gradually wore down the Ikko ikki's defenses. After a 3-year siege, Nobunaga's forces broke through the Ikko ikki's defenses. The fall of Nagashima was not just a military defeat, but a symbolic blow to the Ikko ikki's resistance. The fall of Nagashima was a devastating blow to the Ikko ikki movement, marking a turning point in their struggle against the samurai class. The destruction of this stronghold signaled the beginning of the end for the Ikko ikki's influence in the region, as Nobunaga continued his campaign to unify Japan under his rule. Section 5. Echoes of Rebellion: The Legacy of the Ikko ikki Uprising. The Ikko ikki revolt, though ultimately suppressed, left an indelible mark on Japanese society and religion. Their defiance of the samurai class challenged the very foundations of feudal order. The image of peasants and monks taking up arms against their oppressors resonated throughout Japan, inspiring future generations to fight for social justice and religious freedom. The revolt also had a profound impact on the development of Japanese Buddhism. The Jodo Shinshu sect, though persecuted during the conflict, emerged stronger than ever. The resilience and martyrdom of the Ikko ikki solidified their faith and inspired a new wave of followers. Jodo Shinshu continued to flourish, becoming one of the most popular Buddhist sects in Japan. The Ikko ikki revolt serves as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit yearns for freedom and equality. The courage and sacrifice of the Ikko ikki continue to inspire us today, urging us to stand up for what we believe in and to fight against injustice in all its forms. Their story is a testament to the power of faith, the importance of community, and the enduring human desire for a more just and compassionate world.